I'm Pamela and I breed British Shorthair cats in Perth, Western Australia. I have a passion for cat breeding and helping others enjoy the hobby that I love so much. This channel is for people who are new to cat breeding, but part of cat breeding is taking your cats to shows. I often get asked questions about showing cats, and one of the things I was asked recently was, what do I take to shows in my cat show bag? Well, it's a very big bag because I often like to show a lot of cats, so I thought I'd just show you some of the things that I take when I'm getting ready. The first thing you're going to need is a show bag. I've had a lot of bags over the years, big ones, small ones, sometimes I've had two, sometimes I've had pull-along trolleys, lots of different things, but this is my absolute favourite show bag. It's from Royal Canin and it's got lots of different compartments. It's got a handle and wheels so that I can tow it along behind me when it's really full. It's got a shoulder strap that I can put over my shoulder and carry it around the hole. It's also got regular straps so that I can just pick it up and carry it and move it around. One of the things I love about this bag is that when it's on the floor in front of my cat show cages and I'm trying to get set up, it's really easy to get things in and out. So it has a big zipper that opens up and I can get in and out, litter trays in and out, bedding, all sorts of things in and out of this bag really easily. It's also got some extra pockets at the bottom and at the top, and a side pocket for some extra things as well. A show bag that has lots of different pockets and compartments is great because you can put things in there and you can know where they are easily. A really good example is when you need nail clippers. You need to get them in a hurry, probably because you've realised you've forgotten to do one of your cats. So you need to make sure that there's somewhere you can easily find them. And having a pocket like this one at the front where you might put those, where they're within easy reach, is probably a great idea. So how did I get this bag? Well, I'm actually a Royal Canin ambassador, so they gave me one. Thank you, Royal Canin. But you can still get them yourself. They're actually available in the Breeders' Club rewards system. If you're actually a member of the Australian Royal Canin Breeders' Club, you can log in, check your rewards points, and see if you've got enough to redeem for one of these bags. They have other things there as well, microchip feeders, cat tunnels, and you can also redeem the points for food as well. So it's a really good idea to sign up if you're actually feeding Royal Canin to your cats. I'll put a link in the description, which is below this video. This is another type of bag that's really good for taking to cat shows. It doesn't have any compartments, but it does fit a lot in there. This bag has actually been travelling with me, as you can see from the stickers. I bought this home from a cat show because I won a lot of prizes while I was interstate and I wanted to put them on the plane. But these are really great bags for taking to cat shows and fitting a lot of things in. You can use these for your litter trays, for your curtains, for anything. You can get these kind of bags in different sizes. This is a really big one, but I think you can get smaller ones as well. And they open up. That's a pretty big opening. You can fit a few litter trays in this bag. This is another bag that I love taking to shows. It's a little bit smaller, so I take this one when I'm only showing one or two cats. It only has one compartment at the front. It doesn't have as many little spots to put things. It has a really big opening. You can fit a lot of stuff in there. It has really good handles. You can pop this over your shoulder and you can walk in and out of the hole. This one's really good for putting things like litter trays in because you can just flip the top open, lift them out, and you're good to go. It can be a bit hard if you want to put a few other things in there as well because you do have to take everything out to get to the trays. So it's not super practical from that point of view, but if you're just showing one or two cats, it works really, really well. Now let's get down to the details about what I actually pack inside my bag. Show bases and show curtains. These go inside your cat's cage. An extra towel or two. These are really handy, especially for showing stud cats. If someone does pee in their cage, you're going to want something underneath to soak it up. They come in handy for all sorts of reasons, and it's always good to have at least one in your bag. Litter trays. You're going to need one of these for each exhibit, and you're probably going to need a spare one as well because they tend to use them, and then while you've gone away to clean them, they might need to use them again. So it's always good to have a second tray that you can just pop into the cage ready to go. Where I can, I try and find litter trays that will actually match my curtain colours. It's not always possible, but it does look nice when they do match. You need to make sure the litter tray is going to fit in the cage. A really big litter tray is going to take up too much space and leave your cat with too little space. This size is ideal. This is just from a cheap shop and it only cost a few dollars. The other type of tray I like to use is just a container. It's a plastic container that had a lid, but I just use it as a litter tray. It's a really good size. The cat can still use it, but it's not too big and doesn't take up too much of the cage. In my show bag, I also have a bag of litter. At home, I use the Ozpet wood pellet litter, but when I go to shows, I always take this type of litter, which is the British Choice paper litter. The reason I do that is because, to start with, the Ozpet is a bit heavy. It's also a bit harsh on the show floor. You don't want to be damaging the floor of the halls you're in. And I just find that this one's a little bit more absorbent. When a cat goes to the toilet at a show, they'll pee and the pee will go into the tray. And what you don't want to happen is you don't want them to get pee on their feet. When they pee, they can leave a little puddle of urine and you don't want them to put their feet in that. So the Breeders' Choice litter is really good because it soaks up the pee a lot quicker than the wood-based pellets do. Speaking of pee, I like to take a packet of puppy pads to the show, or at least 2 or 3. These are really great if you have a cat that does like to use the tray when it gets to the show, or if you've got a stud cat that likes to spray. They're super absorbent and you can put them on the tray base. When you first get to the show, set your cage up. Put one of these on the base instead of the actual cage curtain base. Let your cat use the litter tray, let them get the pee on their feet, let them stamp it out on the puppy pad, soak it up, and then you can take that away and they're nice and fresh, ready for judging. The next item is something I feel very strongly about. Now, when you go to a show, you need to take sides for your cage. I see this all too often at cat shows lately, that people haven't got sides on their cages. Yes, they have curtains inside the cage, but you need to have sides that actually stop your cat from coming into contact with the cat next to them. People either don't know they need to bring them, forget to bring them, or just assume that the cat next to them will have cage sides, so therefore they don't need them. If you want your cat to do well at a show, please bring the sides for your cages. Your cat will get upset if it can come into contact with the cat next to it. The cage sides form a barrier between your cat and the cat next to it, which means that your cat's going to have more protection against things like fleas, parasites, and diseases. So what are your options for cage sides? You can buy them. People do actually make them within the Cat Fancy, and you can get ones that are plastic around the outside and maybe have a clear plastic top. These ones were actually made and they have little Velcro fastenings to go around the top of the cage. I've made my own simpler version of these using some tablecloth material that you can buy from Spotlight. Now it's shiny on one side with a bit of a pattern, and on the other side it's flocked, which is sort of a fabric-y feel. To reinforce the edges, I've used white fabric tape and just put a strip down the side on either side. If you buy it by the roll, you can get several sets of sides out of it, but you will have some pieces left over. So I've been a little bit creative and I've stuck this one together with a bit of fabric tape. So it's actually 2 pieces made into one large set. This gets wrapped around the show cage, and then I just attach the front to the front of the cage with some fold back clips. You might also hear people talk about cork cage sides, and I've got some of them too. These can be a little bit fussy to make, but once you've made them, they're really good. I've had these for years. I have replaced the tape, but they're really sturdy and they last a really long time. This is cork, you can get it from Bunnings. It comes in a really big sheet. These black sheets are actually really big, so you might need a big car to put them in because you can't really fold them. They also have them in white, and I've got several sets that I've made in white. You just measure them based on what size your cage is. You'll need 1 piece for the back, and then there's 2 side pieces. They just go around the cage, and then again we put fold back clips at the front to hold them in place. You can see that I've used fabric tape again, and that's what I've used to make the hinges. You put the fabric tape on the inside, and then they fold open and closed as you use them. These are probably my favourite cage sides, but they're a little bit trickier to take in and out of a show. If I have a lot of cats, I tend to use these ones. If I have just a couple of cats, I tend to use the roll-up fabric plastic ones. Sometimes I do see people using clear plastic all the way around the cage. I think that that's probably not the best idea. You want to make it so that your cat can't see the exhibit next to them, so that they feel comfortable in their own cage. But something's better than nothing. Nothing is really not okay. Make sure you bring the sides for your cat's show cage to the show, so that your cat can feel comfortable and be protected in its cage. A cat that feels comfortable is going to do better when it comes out to be judged, because they'll be happier and more relaxed. Now when I'm at shows, sometimes I'm judging, sometimes I'm exhibiting, but often I'm stewarding as well. So when I'm stewarding, I bring my apron. This is a lovely Royal Canin apron. I love this one because you can just clean your hands, rub them, and it's waterproof. So even if I'm wearing a white coat or something else, I like to have this underneath that so that my clothing is protected from handling everybody else's cats. If your cat does use its litter tray, or if they spray in the cage, you're going to want something to clean that up. We've already talked about the towels that I bring to the shows, we've already talked about the puppy pads, and we've talked about litter trays. I like to take a little bottle of this as well. This is my Churico dog and cat cleaner. It's something that, it's an enzyme-based product. It's really good for cleaning up cat pee. It really helps with the odour, and it smells quite pleasant itself. I will use this to spray the litter tray after I've cleaned it, so that when I put it back for the cat, it's nice and fresh. I have had other people's cats pee in their cages next to my cages, and that pee's made its way to my cage. So I've also used this to clean my cage, and I've used this to clean up when my own cats have peed in their cage, and basically anywhere where there's pee, this stuff is really good. There's a link in the description below as to where you can get this, and they have the little sizes like this for sale on the website now. So this is a made up one, it's a little tiny size, and it's perfect for popping in your show bag. I have a bag of toys to put in the cat's cages as well. I do like to colour coordinate them with their curtains. Lots of different ones there, they're all knitted, made by different people. My friend's mum makes these, make a little jingle in them. This is Ralphie's one for his red curtains. I like to put toys in my cat's show cages so that the kittens can play with them. The adults generally don't, but what it does is it actually says to people walking around the hall, this cat is loved, this cat is a pet cat, this cat's very special to me. And I think that's important in the cat fancy, because at cat shows you will have a lot of the public coming in and looking at the cats. If they have pretty curtains, if they have jingly toys in there, it just makes a bit of a statement about the fact that the cat fancy at a whole, we actually love our cats, they're our pets, they're special to us, and we want the public to see that too. So if your kittens will play with a toy, great, pop one in there, but even if your adults won't, maybe put one or two in there as well. Now let's talk decorations. These are number holders that I put on the outside of the cages. I match them to the cat's curtain colours. They have a little clip and you can put the cage number in there. They look really pretty on the outside of the cage. I'm also a bit obsessed with these. These are beaded dangles that actually sit inside the show cage. Just show you. There we go, that's one there. Chanel makes these, so I'm going to put a link to where you can get them in the description below. But they look really pretty in the cage. They're not really a toy to play with. The adult cats leave them alone, but they look really decorative and I really like them. Another thing that I'm obsessed with is fold-back clips. These are really good for just about everything. You can use them to hold numbers on the cages, you can use them to hold your cage sides in place, you can use them to hold the curtains up at the beginning of the show so that your stud cat doesn't pee on them. They will do a multitude of things. It's really good to have a good sized packet of these of all different shapes and sizes in your bag. And I also recommend maybe bringing a couple of safety pins as well, just in case you have any problems with your curtains. Grooming. Now I have short haired cats, so I don't have quite as much in the way of grooming as people might have with a long hair. I have a few things I can show you in here, but I'm not going to give you all of my secrets. First up, something that everybody needs to have in their show bag. Clippers. I like these scissor style ones. They're very easy to use. Nappy bags. These are really great if your cat goes to the toilet and you need to contain it up to put it in the bin. Different types of brushes and combs depending on your breed. Cotton wool, earbuds, that kind of thing. Grooming powder, depending on the breed again, you might need some grooming powder for white spots, chins, eyes, that kind of thing. This isn't grooming related, and I'm not really sure why they're in this little bag, but I also have business cards. These are great to have in your show bag so that you can give them to people who might be interested in your kittens, or if you're actually showing an intersex cat, maybe grab some from the breeder that you can hand out for them as well. This is my secret spray, and I am not telling you what's in it, and I am not telling you what it's for. Okay, I'm going to give away one little secret. This is my tweezers. I use these to pluck out the hairs around the top of my British Shorthair's ears if it needs doing. There you go, there's one secret. And this tiny little bottle, this is nil odor, which I actually take to shows because it's important to me, like I said before, that the general public have a good experience when they come to visit our shows. So if it gets particularly stinky, and that can happen in springtime, I will put 1 or 2 drops maybe on the towel that I might have underneath the cat's cage, just to create, a little bit of a neutralising effect, because cat pee, boy cat pee, stud cat pee really stinks. I do this when I'm a show manager or a show secretarial part of the show. So I take that one as well. That's my little secret. If any of you are involved in running shows, get yourself some of this. Something else I like to have in my show bag is a bag. This is a little fold-up bag. You can get like a shopping bag. These are really great. These are Royal Canin bags that we got at one of the national shows. And I really love this. When you're leaving the show hall, sometimes you just want to jam everything into a bag so that you can get out of there quickly. You don't want to maybe pack it as neatly as you did when you were coming to the show. So a bag like this is really good just to shove curtains in, to shove glitter trays in, and if you're lucky, you can shove your prizes and your rosettes in one of these. So some other things that I take are a small dish for water, and I actually take a little bottle of water as well. You might like to take some treats for them. You can take a dish and some food for your cat or kitten. Make sure you check out my other videos on cat breeding, and I might do a few more show ones as well. Don't forget to subscribe.